Monday Scrum.
Hello and welcome to the Monday Scrum with Aaron Woods and Brent Reid. One of the best weekends of footy we have seen in a long time. Week one of the finals certainly delivered. And there's a bit to get through off the field as well. Just firstly, Woodsy, can you confirm whether or not you had a $65 buffet down in Melbourne and you chose to have Cocoa Pops for breakfast?
I don't know where you get the information from, but you're spot on, Emma. Look, we don't get... My wife doesn't buy Cocoa Pops, so when I saw it at the buffet, I was like, yeah, I get it, and I thought I was just enjoying myself. And then my great colleague in Anthony Maroon, who's thrown me under the bus here...
He's rock solid, mate.
He absolutely teed off on me at the breakfast. What are you talking about, mate? Because he was into the what are the eggs, poached eggs and all this sort of stuff, sausages, bacon. And he goes, mate, you're kidding yourself picking up Cocoa Pops when you got everything to pick from. So I was like, no.
So is that all you had, Cocoa Pops?
Cocoa Pops and a coffee.
One bowl of Cocoa Pops cost you $65.
Well, not me. It was on
Cost
the... yeah, sorry, guys. But
That's
sorry to the
embarrassing,
bosses.
It's embarrassing.
Well, I don't even know if breakfast was on our thing. Because Maroon said he's got it, so hopefully it cost Maroon $65.
Oh, yeah,
Oh.
that's good. Oh, there you go.
That'd be an even better story.
Yeah, that would
Well,
be.
he threw you under
That's
the bus.
probably why he's filthy.
Yeah.
There we go. What
Were
a
they
week.
good? Were they good, the Cocoa Pops,
It's
by the way?
like the first time I've had it in 3 years, really. It was
Really?
outstanding.
They are good.
You
It's
should have
like-
had some. You look a bit flat today.
I'm not a Cocoa Pop
Are you okay
guy.
today,
Yeah,
Reid?
you're
What's
right, Reid.
wrong?
You look a bit
Do
flat,
you need to
mate.
talk about anything?
It's all
What's happened,
good. It's all
buddy?
good. No,
You sure?
nothing.
You sure?
No, it's all good. It's all
Okay,
good. I'm all right.
Sure.
Yeah. Big weekend. I'm a bit flat after the weekend.
Okay.
How could you be flat after that?
Oh, mate, it was very emotional, the weekend.
Oh, it was-
Very emotional. It was like a roller coaster.
Well, that's the rugby league world we live in, mate.
It
In
is.
finals, it just delivered. It
Yeah.
delivered, mate.
That game yesterday, I don't think I've ever seen a game like it. You couldn't have scripted it. There was just so much drama between the sin bins.
I think the ref put...
The
He's got to take
injuries,
the P
the
out of the
ref.
whistle. Take the dead set P out of the whistle. Let the boys play.
Well, they're too busy bashing each other, Woodsy. I'm not going to blame the ref. I think the players.
contact
I think
sport,
players
really.
went over. Yeah, but they went overboard. Woodsy, a lot of high shots, a lot of niggly,
look, there was-
a lot of niggly rubbish, and a lot of those decisions they weren't just Ashley Klein. They were maybe
I agree.
consultation with
I
the
agree.
bunker.
But I just thought he lost his way.
Well, he might have lost a little bit of control.
I
but
think
you know what?
I think the players lost away a bit, but
Yeah.
but I think the ref could have controlled a bit better. Like the sin bin with Radley and Totola in the second half. I think that just showed you that he knew he was losing control of the game.
But if the players don't lose control, then the referee doesn't lose control. And I reckon the players lost. Look, Victor got sin bin twice, and you can argue about whether
Mate, both
the
of them weren't
little
even a
rabbit-
sin bin.
the little
Come on.
Well, he did come third man in. You're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, but he didn't. There was no fights, no punches being
it
thrown.
escalated though after that.
Well, wouldn't you say Latrell Mitchell was third man in because Totola pushed someone in the head, then he grabbed the second. He was the second one to grab.
Anyway, I just thought the players went a bit mad.
Well,
I enjoyed
but
it.
You know
I'm
what?
not- I don't have a problem with it. I
I
loved
personally
it.
think it was the new stadium, and then I wasn't at the game, but I was at home watching it, and it was that loud, and I reckon it's just pumped the players up, and they've all just redlined. They've crossed that red line, and they've just lost the plot, and that's what you want to see in rugby league.
Well, it was verging on, some would say, UFC, not just rugby league. Some absolutely loved it.
come on.
I thought it was one of the best things
Yeah.
I'd seen in a while. Others, not so much, but there was a lot of
Are you talking
argy-bargy.
about Buzz? Didn't Buzz say
He
that? It
was-
was UFC.
Buzz did say
Buzz.
that. But Trent Robinson, after the game, it was a long press conference, but he was asked about the style of footy and all of the push and shove.
Yeah, it was chaotic. It was it sort of descended into a non-rugby league game in the end. It got to the point where it was so stop-start and not what we really want to see in our game. And then it got to there was footy periods, and then who was going to execute their opportunities, and they did that better than us. So I think as a spectacle it would have been interesting and different, and then the footy moments were won by Souths.
All right, and then in terms of the decisions, Jason Demetrio, you caught up with him on the sideline as well. Was he happy with those decisions?
Which one's the sin binning?
Yep.
I can't remember what he told me.
Okay. Well, I believe we've got some
Oh, play it,
audio
yeah.
of it,
Remind me, will you?
given that you weren't paying attention.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the game's got to be careful as well. Every time someone gets high, we're sending people off, But it was just one of those games, wasn't it? It was pretty chaotic and full on. And every time someone went down, you were like hoping no one got sin bin. But yeah, happy to be on the right side of the scoreboard.
So
Yeah, okay, I remember that now.
Look, there
I
were
remember him
so
saying
many.
that
It's
now.
hard to. You got even this morning. I'm thinking going back over all of them, thinking, well, this one probably was. This one
Yeah, I
probably
think
wasn't.
they got a few wrong. Like I think the Tedesco one, that was a blatant.
But he didn't
Like
go
Tommy
to the
on
sin bin.
Tedesco.
That's what I'm saying. But that's
he
what I'm
should have
saying.
gone to the sin bin on that one.
And that's where the ref they normally get the bunker to help him out. And then I think Roosters couldn't get another sub because it was foul play. Tedesco gets HIA ruled out of the game, and because he wasn't put on report or 10 in the bin, they don't get the extra.
18th man.
Sin bin or sent off.
Yes, it wasn't a report, but it wasn't sin bin or sent off. So I think the refs needs to. There's got to be a bit of clarity with it, because then Tom Burgess gets 10 in the bin when he hits Lodge with the ball and then bounces up onto his chin. There's just no clarity in it.
So the one on Tedesco, he didn't get sent to the bin, yet has copped 2 to 3 weeks now. So, I think that's why some people are blowing up.
That's why we're talking about it now. We spoke about if the game's going to be good footy, we don't want to be talking about the referees at the end of the day and what are we doing.
Reedy, do you know if they're going to fight the charge with Tom, or would you? Would you risk it?
Look, I would, because when Tedesco carries the ball all the time, he's got real low centre of gravity. He does duck a lot. He sort of... I've played with him at Tigers. One thing we used to do with Tedesco, because he's got a high risk of getting hit in the head all the time, because when he does pass the ball a lot, he tends to fade away and go down a little bit low. But this time, if you watch when he tries to evade players, he gets so low, and that's what makes him such an incredible player. He's got that real good base where he can step at a different level to other players and take off and be as quick as he can. But the only problem with that is he can get low. And what happened yesterday with with Tommy, he's clipped him, and then he's been ruled out of the game with the HIA. But it's a hard one because he's been ruled out. What do they do? A lot of time, the judiciary, they take into account of what happens.
I mean, the risk is if he fights it and loses, I think he's banned for the grand final, because it's 2 to 3 games. So I'd imagine they probably won't risk it. I'd imagine they'll probably cop the early guilty plea. It's interesting what Robbo said about that. I think he sort of said that's not the game you want to see. I reckon people would have left that game yesterday and just loved it. That game will stick in their memory.
I spoke to a lot of my mates. We're in a WhatsApp group, and they go, "How good is rugby league?"
I know. Yeah, people. We'll talk about the Saturday night game later, but they were 2 completely different games.
100%.
They were so memorable.
I reckon that was like
reasons.
the State of Origin game, Reedy.
Yesterday.
Yesterday it was a bash and barge, but then like Robbo said, it was the team that come out and played rugby league that was going to win the game, and that's what South Sydney did. They won the moments.
Roosters just lost their way.
They particularly
lost their way when they were when Souths were down to 11 men. That's when they played their worst.
They just couldn't get anything going for them, and I think South scored.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
They won one of those periods 6-0, I think.
Well, Latrell Mitchell was outstanding. He scored that try when the Bunnies were down to 11 men, had a couple of try-saving tackles as well. Not sure if you remember this one, Reedy, but you did catch up with him after the match.
I couldn't hear what he was saying. He was so loud.
It's a different one, man. There's a lot of emotion coming my way, but yeah, I just don't want to say too much. I've said enough. Just want to keep putting words to action now.
It's the occasional boos, lots of cheers for you too. What was that like?
I just kicked the goals and smile, and I was stoked about that. And I seen a lot of Roosters fellas walking out early, and they were looking for refunds.
Well, he's such a showman. He's the best.
But he's come out and said that, so I love it. It's he copped a fair bit of flack the week before. I think we said on this show. He just wanted to get through that game the previous week. It didn't mean much, especially after the result on the Friday night when Storm got beat by Parramatta the week before. So I reckon him getting through that game last week and feeling what the emotion was like there and seeing how the crowd react to him, this game, the bigger the game is for Latrell, the better he plays. And look, he only had about 6 or 7 runs, but he created that many opportunities outside of it, so he was unbelievable.
He's the best, Tim. And you spoke to him after the game as well for 9. I mean, he's just such a huge character in our game now. I think he's the biggest star we got right now in rugby
100%.
league by the length, and not even close.
I reckon
he's the biggest star by the length of the straight.
I reckon one that comes close.
Nathan.
Adokar.
Oh.
But
he's a better player than that, okay?
Yeah, but
he's a better
the
player.
audience he's got behind him, mate. He brings people to the games as well.
Yeah. Nathan's the other guy, but again, he's different to Nathan because he's
Nathan's
got
quiet. He doesn't really show too much. Latrell's got that aura.
Latrell has a presence, doesn't he?
He relishes that opportunity. Yeah. Where Nathan just goes by his stuff. He works hard. He's quiet, but he plays like a superstar.
Yeah.
He's a lot more comfortable now too, I reckon,
Latrell.
In that.
He's I feel like since he came back from the States.
Yeah.
It's like he's a new person, and chatting to him, he also said it's the best headspace in his career that he's been. He just seems relaxed.
The other thing is he's been this person for a while, and I think it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way because he didn't really speak too much, especially when he was at the Roosters. Now that he's come out, like you said, since he's come back from America, he's had the time to reflect, and he's come out and he said, I am a showman. He's actually, he's come out and he said he is one. So he's put the name to it, and he's like, now he's actually doing it. And because he's come out and he's said it, I think we've all backed him.
Yeah. He's
well,
the
not all
best.
of us. So there's plenty booing him on the.
Yeah.
Well,
plenty booing him
obviously
at the
Roosters
stadium.
supporters, but I don't think they're
We're
booing
giving it to
at the full time when they're on
Yeah.
Mad Monday now.
But
Yeah.
he's also, honestly, he is such a genuine, polite guy that
100%.
some might want to bag him with what they,
Well, I remember I
you
played.
know, booing him from the stands, but dealing with him with media during the week or even at games, the way he'll go out of his way to say hello. He actually is a really good bloke.
I played with him in the 2018 Aussie tests and never met him before. Mate, one of the best guys you'll ever
Yeah.
meet. And he's pretty quiet, like just goes through around, does what he's got to do at training, loves having a coffee, getting around the boys. You just wouldn't think anything different of him. So that's a credit to him. He's come out and, you know, a lot of people have criticised him, but he's just backed himself and keeps sticking to what he's done.
He's backing it with his actions, and that's
He
the
is.
big
Oh,
thing,
yeah.
right? When you talk a good game, you got to back it with your actions, and he's backing it at the moment. And the way he's going, I could see him winning a premiership for South Sydney.
Yeah.
He's playing that well.
Wouldn't that be good?
He's that influential on
yeah.
games now.
I'm with you, Reedy, 100%.
You with me?
Yeah, I'm with you.
All right.
Hurts me.
Woodsy's with me. I'm
Hurts
back.
me. It hurts me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
till the
pumped
next
up
segment.
again.
Yeah, please.
Well, someone else who stood up on the weekend was Val Holmes. That was an epic game as well. We had such good footy on the weekend. Golden Point over the Sharks, that 40-metre field goal. You would have always backed Val to step up in a moment like that.
Yeah, definitely. When we had him at Cronulla Sharks, when I was there, every time would obviously be in, you know, a golden point situation or, you know, 1 point behind. A draw, We'd always look to get Val closer to the action and look for the field goal. He's got one of the best boots you've seen. And not only did he get the field goal, it was a 2-point field goal as well. He hit it from about 45 metres out. And look, it didn't look like it was gonna strike it too well, but it just snuck in. But yeah, I know he got the field goal, but I thought his defence on Jesse Ramien was enormous all night. Jesse's been outstanding. Like the Sharks' back five have almost won a game single-handedly this year, and to see the way that Cowboys defended, what a game! And like there's a lot of footy being thrown. I reckon that was one of the games that are around to watch, and like you said, it was completely different to the Roosters and Souths game.
Tell you the bloke who stood up for the Cowboys, Jason Tomalolo.
Oh, did he what?
Oh, how enormous was he in that game? Like he was probably. We talk about Latrell's performance over the weekend, but I reckon Jason's was arguably the performance of the weekend. He was ridiculous. That was like the old vintage.
Mate, what about the
Jason
try he scores on the
Tomalolo.
bell? Some of the carries, I think, in
Well,
extra...
his was a carry before Val's field goal, wasn't it?
But even in extra time, some of his carries on play 3 and 4 was just getting him in good field position to get good kicks away. And, mate, incredible performance from Jason.
What's he like playing against Woods? Because he's got amazing footwork for a big man, isn't he?
The hard thing about Jace is he's very quick off the mark, so he can run nice and direct and run straight over you. But in the back of your mind, he's got a really good right foot and left foot step. So, and then when you finally get good contact on him, he's got a late offload as well. So the thing with Toddy, they've used him so well, and then this year he's used him with a pass. So a lot of the times they get McLean to lay the line, and it looks like that Tomalolo's going to have a carry, but then he'll throw it at the back, and they'll do an early shift to their centres in Hickey and Holmes, and that makes so many easy meters. It's just got threats everywhere.
How much does that take out of the Sharkies, though?
That's a lot, but I think they'd probably be happy coming up against South because it was a very physical game yesterday. Coming up against the Roosters, who are a bash and barge, nice and physical, direct side, but 93 minutes is a long time, and you're normally playing 80 minutes. You think of the emotions that they're going through. I think they've got a week to recover. Is it? They play Saturday night. I think at Allianz. So, look, it's going to be a real tough one for them to back up to, especially. They had the opportunity to win it. They're up by 8 points. And then to somehow lose that game the way they did, they'll be feeling pretty flat come Sunday, Monday. Hopefully Fitzy gets them to get through it. And, they're coming up against a South Sydney side that's red hot. I think only one loss in Tommy Burgess. So they'll be up for it. It'll be another really good game that we're going to look forward to.
Well, the Storm Raiders game was pretty epic as well. And I don't think many would have tipped the Raiders to win. And Ricky said at the beginning of the match, I know everyone thinks we're here to just make up the numbers, but we believe in ourselves. It's the first time since 2014 that Melbourne have been eliminated in week 1 of the finals. Craig Bellamy has also said next year is his last year.
He definitely has.
He said that on...
I think he said that before, though, to be fair.
Okay.
A few times.
But is Melbourne's premiership window closing?
See, I reckon this is a premature declaration by a lot of people because when you look at
About Bellamy?
about Melbourne falling off a cliff, they've still got Pappenhausen. Well, if he comes back 100%, they've got Pappenhausen, Munster next year, Jerome Hughes, Harry Grant. That's their spine.
Yeah.
Christian Welch will come back. They've still got Nelson. They'll get Remus Smith back, who
Tarek Sims.
I think they really miss Remus Smith this year.
I think they've missed Smith and Jennings.
Yep.
Jennings got injured in round 1 or 2.
So they've still got Xavier Coates. They've got some.
Olam.
They're all
They've got
superstars.
For me,
Yeah.
I reckon, depending on what happens with Munster, because I seen a report that Cameron Smith said that he's got the feeling that Munster's going to go to Redcliffe.
Yep.
But obviously that's a year away, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I reckon next year's their big year. You know, the year after that, when you lose someone like Munster, that can leave a big dent in you. So where they're going to play, obviously the 5'8", who's going to play 5'8"? Because the game on the weekend, when they were down, the one player that did stand up for Melbourne for me was Cameron Munster. He touched the ball, I think, 2 or 3 times a set. He was getting more involved. Look, Hughes looked still a little bit ginger.
Yeah, he's struggling.
He was struggling. You know, he was touch and go, I think, as you say, the week before. So I don't think their window is shut next year, but I think after that, depending on what happens with Bellamy, you get a new coaching with the systems if he does go. And then you lose someone like you said in Munster, it could be a big loss for them.
Well, if they lose Munster, though, they're going to go hard for a big name. There's already been talk they've reached out to Dylan Brown, Matt Burton's been mentioned, Adam Dewey's been mentioned. They'll try and replace Munster with a really big, high class player. So I know it won't be Cam Munster, and it's replacing Cam's almost impossible. But they can possibly go and get someone for a little less money, a really good footballer. They still got the 3/4 of that spine, and they can go and maybe strengthen another area. They might need some help in the back row because, they've got Liero coming through. They'll have Tarek, and they've got a young kid named Jack Howarth who's...
He's the one they got a big earmark on, haven't they?
They got big raps on him, but he hasn't really kicked on this year. But there's been some huge raps on him. So, look, I mean, it was a really disappointing... Their end of the year was bad. They just looked like they were cooked, I reckon.
For Melbourne standards, definitely.
They look cooked,
I just think defensively on their try line, the couple of times the tries that the Raiders did score, they just come straight through them. You never see. That's not Melbourne-like.
But knowing Craig, that sort of loss...
It'll drive him
He'll
harder.
just rip into them in the pre-season. They'll come back harder next year. So I think they'll be fine.
What about the Raiders? Can you see them going on to the decider, given it's not that anything is easy, but you would say it's the easier side of the draw, not having to face Penrith until the grand final if that's the path they take. So they'd have to beat the Eels and the Cowboys. But we talk about momentum and form, their back end to the year has been scintillating.
I honestly can believe it because Mitchell Moses is a question mark over him this week. And if he does play, he's coming off a big head knock. And Canberra, a real physical side. I was down there on the weekend. We got to call that game on Triple M. And, mate, the forward pack from Canberra, Tarpany played the first 50, 60 minutes. He was incredible, especially in that first half. I think he set up a couple of tries with his late offloads. Papali'i, he's playing, they question marked him halfway through the year with the Origin, but he was outstanding. And then you throw in like Hudson Young, he's just, something always happens around him. Elliot Whitehead, I think, had his best game of the year. They're just playing. They need to get Adam Elliott right. He had a bit of a groin strain.
It sounds like he's
been unreal for him this year.
He's gone. Sounds like it.
Because his leg speed around the ruck, he drifts across field. He can link up with players. Got a late offload, and then Jack Whiten, like he had the week off previously. It really does show you, giving that time away, giving a bit of rest. They played like they had nothing to lose, and that's what's scary about them. Para come fourth. They don't want to be going out straight sets, so they're going to always have that in the back of their mind, whereas Canberra just snuck in. They got in the 8. They got that last round with Brisbane losing. They're just playing footy. They're just playing what's in front of them. They're just playing free-flow footy, and it's really good to see.
The big concern for them is Mitch, obviously. If Mitch can't recover from that concussion in time, that's a huge hole in that team.
Would you go as far as to say, without Mitch, they can't win?
I wouldn't say they can't win, but I'd say Canberra probably deserve to be, Canberra probably favourites without Mitch. He's that important to them at the moment.
I hate saying this, but I agree, Reedy.
Oh, wow.
Huge.
We're on a roll now.
But you look at Mitch's kicking game. He single-handedly keeps him Parramatta in the games with his kicking game.
Yeah.
And you notice when he went off the other night how many points they leaked.
It just all unravelled from there.
Yeah, they need to get their completion rate a lot better because what Penrith did, they just suffocated them and then just waited for them to crack.
So it seems that the title is Penrith's to lose, really.
Well,
how far above the rest of the competition are they still favourites in your eyes?
Honestly, I didn't have them. I thought Roosters could have beat them. Yeah. I've been saying to Reedy for a while, Roosters could beat them, but since they
gone, they couldn't win, Woodsy.
Yeah,
told you.
But the 1 week you got on them, they get beat. So I'm filthy.
But mind you, didn't you tip the Cowboys for the spoon?
Yeah.
No, I did not.
Here we
That is
go.
incorrect. I'm pretty sure I tipped the Dogs.
But
Well,
yeah,
maybe the Tigers. I might have tipped
for me
Tigers.
now, it's Penrith's competition to lose. They are that far ahead. You know, they were defensively in that first 20 minutes. I thought Fisher, Harris, and Leota. Like normally we talk about them carrying the ball. They were bashing Parramatta's forward pack, and I think I just said it before with Whiten. It's like when you had that 1 week off, they were that refreshed. They're going to get another week off, and then they're going to play the winner of Sharks in South Sydney, who have both had a very tough game, semi-final one. Not saying that their game wasn't as tough on the Friday night, but Penrith won that game in the first 20 minutes defensively. You know, kick-out was enormous. Nathan Cleary, you would have thought he was Joey Johns on the weekend.
And he'd been out for 5 weeks.
He's been out for 5. A lot of people question if he could come back and play good footy. You know, we just spoke about him doing the little things right. He was dead set man of the match by length. It was unbelievable. So, and then we haven't even spoke about Coruscant, Luai, Dylan Edwards, you know, and Brian Toto. How good was he?
It's almost as if
It's sickening
you
how good they
can't
are.
really identify a weakness.
You honestly can't. And I think we spoke about it like, how would you say it? You know, skill work wise, everything, they are miles ahead of everyone else. You pretty much need Penrith to have an off day to beat them.
Yeah.
That's how good they're going.
So the only way Penrith can lose is to beat themselves and just be off their
And
game.
that's how well, that's how I see it, is because they are the footy they're playing is absolute, and they've been like that the whole season. They've been that far ahead of everyone else. It's unbelievable. The games they've lost was when Cleary was obviously sent off. You know, they lost the first one against Parra, which they played pretty poor, and they beat themselves that night. And then they lost a couple of games at the back end of the year when they rested players.
Yeah, I think the only thing that can stop them is probably injury and suspension
Or
I would have
refereeing.
thought. Well,
yeah.
and
Well, all
that.
you need, we saw on the weekend, someone gets binned, changes the game. Imagine
But then
if
you know the other thing as well. I read it somewhere. You need to go after Cleary like Queensland did in State of Origin.
Yeah.
They just looked after Cleary. You know,
I think Jimmy Graham said that too on
We
our
spoke about it on air before.
pre-game. Said
Yeah.
just
To
follow the Maroons blueprint.
just go after him and just try to whack him.
Bash
You
him.
know, but the only thing is you're going to have a liability of maybe get someone 10 in the bin.
Yeah. Well, I thought that was the reason Murata Niokore started that game. I thought it was to go after Nathan Cleary.
Physically, yeah, I thought
he
so.
did not get near him. Didn't get near him all game. They put no pressure on him at all.
The problem was you look at the play falls before he kicks. Leota's taken it, Fisher Harris taken it, Kickout's taken it. They're getting quick play the balls. It's that hard to get off your line and put pressure on Cleary because he's just using his big man, and that's so smart by Cleary. He uses them, lay the line, and just get a free kick. Paul
And when
Wonga
he's got
Blake had no
time-
idea.
When he's got time, Woods, he just controls
Oh,
games, doesn't he?
As soon as he's got time, it's game over.
Yeah.
There's nothing. There's not a worse because I'm telling you now, 99% of the time he picks the right
It's
decision.
like Em with the podcast. Give her a bit of time. She just controls
Yeah.
it.
She's out.
Just
She's out.
controls it.
Cleary here.
Oh, who are you?
He's
I'm
Aaron
up
Woods.
and down. I'm up and
Oh,
down.
yeah, okay, sorry.
I'm off the bench. I took Benji. Remember, had to sub for him.
What are you? You're going to say you're
Reedy's
Latrell.
actually Klein.
No,
Reedy's
not
going to say he's Latrell.
No.
Big game player.
He's actually Klein.
No,
No,
not
I'd
that
be
good.
happy to say the bigger the game,
Oh,
the better you
perform.
are.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
I'll
yeah.
take that. Yeah.
Can
You're
we
a big dog.
can we say Reedy's a bunker because he's hit and miss?
Don't bag the bunker, mate. Bag the players.
Please.
They did. They got it wrong. Not the
Please.
bunker.
Oh, we'll give him a chance to prove himself, all right? This is a finals edition of our favourite segment.
Reedy's Mail.
Woodsy, I heard you before talking about Josh Papali'i. And,
Yes.
people were questioning him in the middle of the year.
Yeah, yep.
I
Unbelievable.
spoke to him on Sunday.
Oh,
He
did you?
said,
Yeah.
as he went into Origin camp for Game 3, he actually rang Billy the first day he was in camp, and he said, "Billy, can I see you?" Billy said, "Yeah." So he went up to Billy's room, and he said to Billy, "Billy, if you don't think I'm good enough anymore, don't play me."
Wow.
Did
Bill-
he?
Yes. And Billy said, "Nah, I back you. I believe in you." And then he turned out, obviously, played really well in Origin 3.
He's played
And he's been
unbelievable ever
magnificent
since.
He said he shut off his social media when he went to camp. He tried to ignore all the criticism. But, yeah, he went up to Billy and he said, "Look, if I'm not good enough anymore, Billy, don't pick me." And they know each other. I mean, when Josh debuted
They play with each other.
Yeah.
in 2013, Billy was in the team. So, and I spoke to Billy today about that meeting. He said, "Yeah, it's right." He said, I just told him, "Mate, I believe in you. You're the leader of this forward pack. We need you." And then Josh obviously went out and played like he did. Billy spoke about the relationship he's got with Papali'i and Tarpanay. And he said, Joe's getting all the raps at the moment, the way he's playing. But he said, I bet if you asked Joe, he'd give all the credit to Josh Papali'i for
Well, you look at
helping him through and guiding him through.
Yeah, but for me, I watched the game on the weekend real close. Papali'i does the early carries. He does the ones where he's getting four blokes wind up. He took the first carry of the game, the kick-off runs, and then Tarpanay sort of, because Papali'i skittles them, like there's 3 or 4 in the tackle with him. There's only 2 getting out. Papali'i's got Tarpanay's got like a a better carrier to pick at who he's going to run at, and that's what creates his second phase momentum.
It's big. It's a big call by Josh, and I said that to him. I said, "Man, that's a big call. Why'd you do it?" He said, "Look, I just wanted to."
But you know what? For Papali'i, he would have got a world of confidence out of that because half the time that is rugby leagues. It's a hard game, and you always question yourself. We always talk about head noise as a player, and to have the coach back in and say, "No, don't worry about it. I'm playing you no matter what." He would have went in with just all the confidence in the world, just to say, "All right, the shackles are off. I don't have to worry. He's told me man to man what he wants from me. And that's all I've got to do now." Good on him.
So there you go. That was part of the turnaround in his season.
So this is an exclusive. Billy Slater helped turn around Papali'i's season.
Easy.
What else you got?
And they knocked out Melbourne.
So Melbourne, the Cowboys, Jordan McLean, obviously went very close to making his Origin debut earlier this year before that injury struck him in camp for Origin 3. He's about to do a new deal. I know. I felt like he stumbled.
Are you okay today?
You have a stroke.
Was that a glitch in the system or what?
No, I think you're the glitch.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, you've had a rough
told
weekend.
you he's a bunker.
You've had a rough weekend.
He's about to do a new deal with the Cowboys. One more year at the Cowboys, Jordan McLean. He deserves it. I think he's been outstanding for them this year.
He's like Tamalalo. It's like this year's been a new lease on life for him. He's been come off the back fence. He's been playing some unreal footy. And as you said, if it wasn't for injury, he plays for New South Wales this year.
Is he a bolter for the World Cup tour?
I think he is. He's already played. He played in the last World Cup with us. Yeah,
he's
played
a chance to go this time around.
100%. Well, you look at our middle forwards. Paulo's playing for Samoa, so is Papali'i.
Yep.
So we haven't really got too many to pick from.
Might be Lodgy or McLean.
Haas if he does.
Would you pick Lodge?
Yeah, I'd pick Lodge. He's going to cop a little bit of flack if they do pick him for his indiscretions in the past. But they've seen he's played for other clubs. They've all given the opportunity, and one of the best coaches in the game, Trent Robinson, has backed him. So
I've got to say he was magnificent yesterday. And when all the rubbish was going on,
he could have lost his head.
He was the one bloke who
kept his cool.
That's
true.
And then the other thing is when he did get head high clipped, he's got up straight away and went to play the ball, got a penalty, and was straight on 6 again.
2 years ago, he wouldn't have done that. No chance.
Probably would have had a different lodge, and that shows you how much of a person, how much his character's changed over time.
And just finally for Dragons fans, might be a bit of good news this week. Jacob Little, we've spoken about him a few times. He had a medical. Woodsy, this is for you, Dragons fans. You're a Dragons player. But Jacob Little had his medical last week. He's expected to be confirmed as a Dragons player this week, Jacob Little. So.
He's a good young kid, Jake. I had him at Tigers when he was coming through the grades there. He's one of the fittest and fastest at the club.
Had some bad injuries, didn't he, over the years?
Yeah, poor kid. I remember when, just as Farah announced his retirement, he played a game against Manly Seagulls, and I think he did everything in his knee, like his ACL, MCL, PCL. Yeah. So hopefully he can just have a really good off-season and get fit and firing and just back himself.
It's an interesting one because I think Andrew McCulloch...
Macca's still there.
He's going around again.
But Macca's a very good player. It'd be a really good play to learn off as well. He's been around a long time, played 300 games, played for Queensland. Yep. So that experience for Jakey will be awesome.
That's about it.
So Jacob Little's gone. Jock Madden's gone. Is Jake Simpkin staying at the Tigers?
Yeah, he's still there.
He's still got a year or two.
Yeah.
Yep.
There we go.
And they've got
Uppy coming.
Yeah,
so
Jake Simpkin's going to be stuck behind Appy as well.
Maybe come off the bench, maybe.
We'll look at Appy at the moment. He's come off the bench, so they could start Simpkins. You never know.
Never know him.
Well done.
Funny world.
It is.
Funny game, rugby league.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
When you're Latrell Mitchell like you are. No, the bunker. No, that was a pretty good segment.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Just 8 out of 10. Woodsy, what do we think?
I'm just happy I'll come off the bench. Doing my job.
This week, so we've got Raiders, Eels, Sharkies, Rabbitohs. Who are we tipping?
Mate, I was a shocking tipper last week. It's just a flip of the coin.
I was on fire last week.
That shows you how bad the footy, how
I tipped
hard
the
it was
Cowboys.
to pick.
I tipped South.
Yep.
I think I tipped Parramatta.
I asked you for your tips this week.
Oh, sorry. I'm gonna go. Well, it depends if Mitch plays, but I'm gonna go Canberra.
Canberra.
And I reckon South.
Yeah.
You with me?
I'm with you. Not that it matters what I think.
I'm going Para Sharks. I'm sick of agreeing with Reedy all day today.
And you're going Canberra.
South.
Yep. Okay.
It's a great final series.
Charlie, are you going Charlie? Oh, he's off mic.
I'll go Canberra to make the grand final even.
Oh, you heard it here first.
The big goal.
And then the Bunnies will win. The Bunnies will win. Yeah. Who cares what I think though anyway.
Okay.
All right, there we go. Well, we'll see you sideline one of the nights.
Somewhere.
We'll just logistically
You just let me know when you need to
No,
work.
I'll work around you.
Yeah.
Woodsy will hear you Friday night with us.
I'll just pop out anywhere, mate.
Yeah.
When Chicken needs me, I'm there.
Come off the bench. You're there. And we'll read your magnificent work in the Daily Telegraph during the week.
Yep,
and we'll
it out.
see everyone next week for another bumper edition of the Monday Scrum.